Why the biggest VTuber in history vanished? Again, yeah, it's not for the first time. Previously she was Gura, so now Saba. What's gonna be next? What's gonna be next? By the way, for the context, Saba was missing for about 5 months, and reason that we might know is because of her health condition, but we don't know for sure. So let's see what she says. Let's go.
Plenty of people dream of becoming content creator. More than half of Gen Z said they'd want to be an influencer when they grow up. And on paper, it looks like the dream. The fame, the money, the attention, a whole audience that revolves only around you. So what happens when someone gets all of it? The engaged fan base, the sponsors and merch companies all lining up, the record-breaking numbers, and then just walks away. Samiko Saba broke a record nobody thought could be broken. 1 million subscribers just 3 days after she debuted, faster than anyone in the history of the medium. That happened in June 2025, and by the spring of 2026, she'd vanished from content creation entirely, and her fans had no idea why. It all came to a head in April when somebody finally got fed up and canceled their membership, which on its own is the least interesting thing that can happen on the internet. After all,
yeah. Oh, by the way, there was not a while ago that Kaisina disappeared as well, and he kind of got the same issue with his subscriptions that was available, but but he wasn't streaming for a couple of months, I guess, and a lot of people really were pissed off because of that, because, well, he's keeping receiving money for nothing, basically. So I guess he disabled his subscription afterwards.
people cancel subscriptions every single day and the world keeps turning. But that post hit a nerve that turned out to run through an entire community and beyond. It had found the exact spot where it hurt and pressed. By the next morning, it wasn't one annoyed subscriber anymore. Quote tweets stacked on quote tweets. People who'd been stewing for weeks all talked at once, and one post in particular sailed past 1.5 million views while the replies turned into open warfare. The name Samiko Saba stayed trending for days, but unfortunately what was being said about her wasn't all that positive. Truthfully, that cancelled membership didn't start anything. The water had been at low boil for months, covered, rattling, building pressure with nowhere to go. And all that one post did was knock the lid off. Everything that came pouring out was already there. The thing that set them off was almost insultingly simple. She hadn't gone live since February 7th. No stream, barely a word, dead silence stretching across months. From someone whose debut was, by numbers, one of the most watched arrivals VTubing had ever produced. She had previously walked away from the biggest VTuber agency on the planet, left it on purpose, and the reason everyone thought so at the time was freedom. The freedom to do this her own way, on her own schedule, without anyone.
Yeah, as far as I know, she left her previous company because she had to stream, but it was really stressful for her to stream so much, and she wanted to stream less. That's why she went indie, in my opinion.
One above her telling her when to show up. That was the whole point. And she's now streaming less than she ever did while she was within that company. Go looking for an explanation and you'll find no shortage of them. Some people will tell you that she's a grifter cashing royalty checks from her couch. Others will say that she's just too sick to work. And there's the one where the pressure of her fame was already going to win. Netizens have landed on all of them, and you can see why. But everyone...
Well, technically, if you think about it, well, I don't think she's a grifter. That's no chance somebody else here could be a grifter. Then we have health issues and pressure from being a #1 VTuber in the world. And technically, the one reason can lead to another reason, in theory.
One of those theories are really missing the point. To understand what's actually happening, you have to go back a lot further than that. Years before any of this, before the record-breaking numbers, before the agency, there was a girl on the internet pretending to be drunk.
Fuck the teardrop in my eye, won't cut you off.
That At Senzawa, late 2017, give or take, this little voice starts showing up on YouTube. High, sweet, innocent, the kind of voice you'd expect reading a children's book, except it was attached to some of the most deranged, crude, and gloriously stupid humor you could imagine. And that
I guess back then, I'm not somebody who subscribes to channels and learns about people, but I guess back then I was a fan of shitpost she was producing because that was the content that I mainly watched at the time. Well, it was more than 6 years ago, actually.
contrast was the whole appeal, and people couldn't look away. She made her name doing what fans lovingly called high-effort shitposting. She takes some piece of throwaway internet garbage and put an absurd amount of real skill into it. We're talking full vocal range on a rap
Nugget rap. Well, by the way, she was a VTuber before it went mainstream. And she had a giant audience. 1.5 million people. Yeah.
parody of a copy pasta
Yeah, 1.5 million people 7 years ago. She was really big back then.
nobody asked for.
Okay, Boomer. Whatever you say, Boomer.
Stuff that had no business sounding as good as it did sounded good. And layered over all of it was the drunk act. She'd slur her way through chaotic streams and sometimes just come apart on camera as they went.
I haven't even started drinking yet, and I'm already ready to like yell. I hope you guys like this game so far, and if it's on Steam. Oh, I'm looking at the sky. Is this what it feels like to be dead?
And her fans absolutely ate it up. She sold it so well that people genuinely started debating whether it was an act or not. Some were convinced that she really did have a drink.
Nah, she doesn't drink, but she was really performative person. That we can see a lot, especially when she went Gura. Full Gura is a performative personality, in my opinion. But is it bad? No, I don't think so.
Problem. Others figure she just got nervous performing and used it to take the edge off. I wasn't
Yeah, it might be the reason as well, by the way.
there, and Reddit being Reddit, I couldn't tell you which.
Let's say when you have a different personality, it's always... let's say, if you're nervous, having a different personality to hide away your feelings is something quite normal, to be honest.
It was. But here's what I do know. At one point, she edited her YouTube description to spell out that the drunk thing was a bit, and it barely moved the needle. People wanted more of it regardless. More chaos, more mess, more of the unhinged version they decided was the real her. She built this persona as a joke, and now she was left trapped inside it by the exact same people who loved her. So she'd leave. Senzawa never really kept a schedule anyways. She'd drop a video that blew up, disappeared for months, came back, disappeared again. One account on Reddit retells how they believe one of the last messages in her Discord server was something along the lines of, "Every time I visit here, I die a little inside." She was always a feast or famine content creator, even all the way back then.
Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. See you guys in 9 months.
And then, in 2020, she left for
You guys didn't... I'd like to make so too, honestly.
good. Her second to last post on Twitter was just this, a fistful of nonsense. She streamed once more on June 23rd and then went dark. There was no goodbye and no explanation, not even an announcement, just nothing. Her fans had no idea where she went. It took months for them to piece it all together. And what they figured out was that she hadn't quit at all. No, she disappeared right as a new Shark Girl was debuting over at a company called Hololive. A few months after Senzawa went dark, Hololive, the biggest VTuber agency in the world, announced its first ever English-speaking lineup, and one of them was a shark. Think of a VTuber agency like your record label mixed with Disney. Well, without its controversies. I actually, scratch that. They are riddled with controversies too. But anyways,
Yeah.
they do hire entertainers and give them a high-quality animated VTuber avatar, tech gear, and a massive built-in fan base. The creator gets to be a VTuber under a huge brand name, and in exchange, the agency owns the character and takes a cut of the money they make from streams, merch, and concerts they organize. So amidst all of that, Gargura debuted, and Gargura is a tiny apex predator with a hoodie and a trident and a voice many recognized. She was a great pick for Hololive. After all, she had already proven that she could be popular online and that she understood internet audiences. Her Senzawa channel had been a massive success, so her debut was one of the most anticipated streams the scene had ever seen, and it started with a technical problem and a long delay. So thousands of people just sat there waiting. And when she finally came through, her very first word as Gargura was that became an iconic meme, and a meme pulled in tens of thousands more people that all started spamming A in chat. And from that second, she basically never came back down. She became the most subscribed VTuber in history. Not the most subscribed English one, the most subscribed full stop. The timing was almost unfair. This is late 2020 we're talking about. The world is locked inside, everyone's online, and starving for something to watch. And here comes a cute shark girl singing nostalgic English songs in a space that almost had no big English VTubers in it yet. It was the perfect combination of luck and preparation coming together. She wasn't doing it alone. Some of the most beloved stuff from that era came out of her friendships with the other members of her gen, in particular with one of them, Amelia Watson. Fans shipped the two as Ame Same, since Same means shark in Japanese, and the two of them leaned all the way into it. Amelia openly called Gura her wife, and their dynamic, the Ame's gremlin/troll energy mixed with Gura's sassy but gullible nature, made for legendary streams. During the early days of Holo EN server, their duo streams built a lot of the server's early lore. They'd play Minecraft on separate streams at the same time and kept colliding into each other's world, crashing cars, botching rescues, and Gura dying roughly every 4 minutes while Ame tried to save her. Their A Way Out playthrough was arguably their most legendary gaming collab. Watching them try to coordinate a prison escape was pure chaos, and they constantly messed with each other.
Can I get a shot of this from the side one more time? I want to see what Hey, bada. Hey! Okay, let me
Good luck with your lame responsibilities. I'll be out here playing darts. Let me know when you're free to have fun.
Listen, I'm here being a dad. You wouldn't understand. My kid just avoided me by climbing out the window.
You guys
Take the shot, kid!
It's not fair.
What? My kid sucks!
And not just online, offline too. Whenever Ame and Gura managed to meet in real life, it was a massive event for the community. Their offline collabs, like doing VR together and playing Twister, are some of the most viewed and are still some of the most clipped moments in Holo EN history. Not to mention their impromptu karaoke duets, and specifically their cover/singing of the Fortnite meme song Chug Jug With You, that went wildly viral and became
Check with you. Take me to the victory, right? Yeah, this thing. Yeah, I thought the most popular version was the Nyanners version. I never heard their version before.
another defining meme for the duo. As for Gura herself, she accomplished many things that very few content creators would ever have the opportunity to do. Among some of her biggest achievements, she sang Take Me Out to the Ball Game at Dodger Stadium during an actual major league game.
For a VTuber, that's really impressive.
Tokyo made her an official tourism ambassador. She also showed up in a Taco Bell commercial. Yep, a shark VTuber was being hired by a baseball stadium, a city government, and a fast food chain. That's the level we're talking about. Gargura wasn't just big for a VTuber. We're talking industry breaking big. And I already made a video on exactly why she blew up the way she did and the challenges she faced along the way, so the link's up there if you want to go see the deep dive. The short version of it is that she had the timing, she had the talent, and she had years of being Senzawa hiding underneath her polish. And people figured out that part pretty fast. The shark was the same girl who'd vanished without a goodbye a year before. She just never confirmed it because she didn't have to. And she wasn't really allowed to neither. But her voice gave it away. Whatever the name on the bottle said, Senzawa was still in there. But even back then, Gura wasn't well. At the top, the biggest VTuber in the world still took a 2-month break for her health in December 2022. The physical demands of her corporate obligations began catching up to her. On December 16, she tweeted, "Going to the doctors today. It's all attached to my health, so it's stressful to deal with. Sorry I've been so quiet about it." And then on December 21, Cover Corp issued an official announcement saying that she was suspending her streams to recover. And Gura followed up by tweeting she decided together that it would be the best for me to take serious time for my health. She never explicitly stated what was actually wrong, but outside of the formal announcement, the trail was there anyway. She'd mentioned her doctor warning her not to get out of bed too fast in the morning because she was prone to fainting, and she had the stories to back it up, including one time she fainted and fell backward into an AC unit, and another where she passed out in the bathtub.
Speaking of being able to hop up out of bed really fast in the morning, my doctor told me not to do that anymore. I was so eager to get out of bed. I would hop out of bed and I would faint. I would pass out. One time
Well, probably, my opinion. She had some problem with blood pressure. But yeah, it's kind of weird. Actually, since we don't know much about her actual health, well, we know when she passed out, according to these clips, but we don't know the reason. But what are the reasons that are capable to lead to this result? So first of all, brain damage, which I don't think is the case here, because when you have a brain damage, that's not something you could do whenever you want. Stream, I mean. Especially, yeah, for a big industry, for a big company as Hololive, it especially, I guess it's a Japanese company as well. So yeah, they don't have a point to hire somebody that can pass out or because of some brain problems. So that's not the case, I believe. Second, heart problems. Well, heart problems can be hidden for a really long time, but we can't know this for sure. She never said this. So what is the third reason then? Technically, if you have blood pressure problems, if you take any meds, that might cause some you may pass out from taking meds, yeah. And well, what kind of meds she could taken? If it's not blood, if it's not brain, or if it's not blood, if it's not heart, if it's not brain, she might have taken some pills, meds against stress, antidepressants. As a theory, yeah. Okay, let's proceed to what she says.
I hopped out of bed so quickly, then I went to another room and I fainted. I fell backwards into like a ladder in an air conditioning unit. I also fainted in the bathtub or in the shower. Yeah.
In 2023, there was backlash regarding a pre-chat incident due to people fighting in her chat over her not streaming for weeks at a time and going radio silent. Well, according to them, Gura ended up disabling her livestream pre-chat and pinned a comment. It was the first time Gura directly addressed how her
little update, I'm doing what I can when I can. I don't know what my new normal is or will be in terms of frequency. I just hope we can have a good time when we are together.
Streaming frequency dropped and mentioned a new normal. Discussions on forums and Reddit exploded, and even all the way back then, people had already started expressing concerns with her communications. This is also where we can see the start of a fanbase divide, where some of her most disgruntled fans would later turn into her most obsessive antis, and while others adapted and managed their expectations. On September 2024, she posted about going through a rough health spot while thanking fans for anniversary wishes.
Thank you so much for the anniversary wishes. You are so wonderful. Oh my goodness. I'm going through a rough health spot currently. But let's celebrate together once I'm feeling a bit better. Yes, thank you. Now, I'm not quite sure if it was stress actually.
And on February 2025, she mentioned having a fever plus other health issues that delayed her Valentine's content, but planned to return the following week. And those bouts of disappearing because of her health only got worse over time. Early Gura streamed constantly. Late Gura barely streamed at all. The last few years before she graduated, her schedule went from packed to almost empty. There was long gaps everywhere, hiatus after hiatus, until she was hardly doing the normal streaming and idol stuff at all. The strange part is that it barely dented her. The old VODs and the big corporate projects kept her enormous even while she was rarely live. And all of it traced back to the same place. The stress of being the face of an entire industry mixed with her health struggles, they were crushing her.
I am sure that being the #1 subscribed VTuber comes with a lot of pressure and anxiety. How did you feel about being catapulted into this position? Has this feeling maybe changed over the years? Have you been able to handle it better, etc.?
Terrified. Wow.
Right from the beginning, or did it maybe take some time in the beginning where you were still like just in this like high, this joyful
No.
high? No? Okay.
From the very start, it was pretty difficult. I had like troubles eating and keeping food down, so I was kind of working off of adrenaline fumes all of the time. I couldn't sleep, couldn't eat. It was really hard to balance all of it. I also had a lot of stressful things going on, stressful like company stuff going on. I've been juggling really badly.
So by the time she announced she was leaving Hololive in 2025, a lot of people weren't shocked at all.
I'm really sorry for worrying you or upsetting you with this announcement. This has been a very long time coming, but today I am here to announce that I will be graduating from Hololive on May 1st, 2025.
They had watched her drift away from the spotlight for years, and to them, it wasn't a bombshell. It felt like something that had been coming for a long time.
Do you wish you weren't in this #1 position?
Sometimes I think about it. Like, I do wonder if it would have changed the stress levels, my path, but also I'm really thankful for the opportunities that were given to me. I wouldn't change what happened for the world kind of thing. I look back and I look through that incredibly hard time that I went through, finding my footing. I can say that I'm proud of myself.
I'm so happy to hear that, because you
Yeah.
really should be. You really should be proud. You've been put in a very difficult position and you made it through as long as you could, and you still ended up taking a very difficult decision to leave.
On May 1st, 2025, Gargura officially graduated. She left Hololive. The most subscribed VTuber in history was walking away from the company that had made her a household name, and everyone wondered why.
I heard that.
Yeah, back then I wasn't watching VTubers at all, so it was, well, I wasn't watching VTubers at all, but anyway, I knew about this hiatus. And with that said, it's just an example how big her graduation was in general.
News. I think not everyone heard the news. I don't want to talk about it too much. It makes me sad, but I hope she will be happy.
Your Oshi is graduating? Oh, be happy for the times that you had. Your Oshi will continue to live on. And know that your Oshi is still out there. So don't be a f***ing stranger, you know what I mean?
Gargura decided to leave
Yeah.
Hololive. If you pull this up, it has 18 million views. Gargura graduated!
Gargura is one of the biggest fucking VTubers in the world.
The official reason was that she had disagreement with management, differences over where the company was heading.
My reasons being disagreements with management and company direction.
And Hololive had grown into this massive idol machine after they went public.
Oh. Yeah, I lost my pants already. Well, anyway.
Over where the company...
Well, we can kind of understand the company itself. So, basically, she's not streaming, which means she doesn't bring any money to the company, but the whole company is still running in her favor. So, was it her decision to leave a company? Maybe yes. Well, yeah, it was completely her decision, let's say. The company wanted her to stream, and they didn't want to lose her as well. Normal. Quite normal. But for her, that was too much pressure to stream. Too much stress. As being a #1 VTuber? Maybe. Well, maybe it's something even deeper than that. Let's watch.
Was heading.
My reasons being disagreements with management and company direction.
And Hololive had grown into this massive idol machine after they went public. All big concerts and tightly managed PR and merch cycles. And Gura had always been happy as just streaming spontaneously on her own terms. There were clips of her mentioning ideas getting stuck in the company's pipeline for months. One of her songs, Full Color, reportedly sat unreleased for over a year and a half. And you can imagine how that would wear on someone. However, besides the creative difference, there was one part of her graduation that really stood out for many.
So many eyes and expectations. I remember there being many days where the stress was so overwhelming that I couldn't eat or keep food down.
Beyond the stalled bureaucracy, beyond...
Wait, I wanna watch this clip.
Hi. Hello, everyone. It's me, Gargura, from Hololive English Myth. Thank you for coming tonight and for being here. It really means a lot to me that you're here right now. I'll keep this short and to the point. I'm not so good with words, but I will do my best. And please forgive me. I am reading off of some notes so that I don't forget anything. First of all, I'm really sorry for worrying you or upsetting you with this announcement. This has been a very long time coming, but today I am here to announce that I will be graduating from Hololive on May 1st, 2025, JST. My reasons being disagreements with management and company direction.
Wait, what?
And company direction. My reasons being disagreements with management and company direction. I debuted in September of 2020 with 4 other incredibly talented girls who I respect and admire. I had barely any streaming or singing and dancing experience before joining this company. It was incredibly exciting, but also very intense and unexpected to be suddenly surrounded by so many eyes and expectations. I remember there being many days where the stress was so overwhelming that I couldn't eat or keep food down. but the continuous support and patience of my wonderful community helped to lessen that feeling and pushed me to go on to do things that I didn't even know I was capable of. I am so lucky and so thankful for each and every one of you, to the opportunities given to me, and for the almost 5 years we've been able to spend together. I love singing for you and performing for you on stage or in my bedroom. You helped pull me out of my shell, and I went off from being too scared to sing alone in my shower to singing live in front of hundreds and thousands of people. When I think about how many of you I've been able to connect with, it brings me so much joy. It's been an honor and a dream come true to be your shark, your Gooba. With you, I've been able to achieve what I thought for a very long time would be impossible for a girl like me. To feel a part of something and to belong. I love being an idol and VTubing and watching all of my senpai, kawaii, and the entire VTubing community grow into this amazing, colorful, and successful world. I love the banter we've shared over the years. I love your clips and compilations, your cosplays, fan art, every single bit of it. I am so lucky to have been loved in such a way. Those of you that sat and fretted over what to write, poured your hearts out to me in ink, please know that I have all of your letters, and I will seal them and keep them forever until the archaeologists dig them up in 300 years and try and decipher what a gargoyle was. Thank you for your compassion, your creativity, and your dedication to me. Thank you for waiting for me. Thank you for waiting for me to return when the outside world became too much. Let's have as much fun as we can together during these last 2 weeks. Please share your kindness and patience with everyone. And while my time here may be coming to an end, I will cherish the memories that we've made together forever. I have one final project to share with you, and I can't wait for you to see it. I'm feeling really optimistic for the future, and I hope you are too. Thank you, everyone, for letting me be your little shark.
Yeah, after so many years, that's still really sad, to be honest. But now, actually, this sound kinda weird to me. Let me explain why. Back then, when she graduated as Gura, well, this last stream, let's say, sounds really genuine. And it sounds almost like a last goodbye. And as yeah, it's really sad. It's really sad and kind of tragic for the community. But at the same time, we are here from the future. We know that, well, that was on May 1st. 5th May, when she graduated. Wait, when did Sameko Saba debuted? Wait. Well, what I want to say, was she planning her redebut already back then. Wait, here a year ago. 18 May. What?
Alive on May 1st, 2025. JS.
May 1st, 2025. And 2 weeks later, there's a video on Sameko Sabat's channel. Hmm. Wait. Well, technically, my whole point here is that why this final goodbye is so emotional if she was already planning her comeback. Well, at least in this 3 week. I might understand that maybe the graduation on itself is something sad. And for sure, she can't promote herself on an old channel. On a corporate channel, of course she can't. But isn't that weird? Yeah, so this is okay, no. This is 16th April, but officially she left during... Well, officially she graduated on May 1st. And on May 18th, she posted a new video on Saba's channel already. Hmm. You know what? Let's continue watching the video. Maybe there's some answer on that.
The responsibility is being the most popular VTuber of the company meant that that role came with expectations whether she streamed or not. Will Gura be there? Will Gura show up to this project? The expectations and the weight that her fame carried was so overwhelming for her that there were days she couldn't keep food down.
Or, oh my god, my stomach. Did you hear this?
Not a big deal.
I have to log off right
Eh?
now. I'm gonna go cry.
There was something
Yeah, we can clearly see that being a shark tuber was a really big stress for her. That's not really surprising, but still.
almost cruel about that, because you can fix a management disagreement by leaving the company, but the eyes and the expectations were never whole lives to give back. They'd attached themselves to her, and they'd followed her under any name she'd ever perform under. She wasn't walking away from them, she was taking them with her. Gargura would become a landmark name no matter which personality she streamed under. She wasn't leaving to escape a company, now really. She was leaving to escape being the center of gravity, and you can't quit that by switching jobs. So the most...
Yeah. She's kind of right. Even if you leave your current job, you can't leave your post of being a center of gravity. Let's say when she left Gargura, she wasn't a VTuber anymore. But everyone knew that Saba is her. So basically, it was the same amount of expectations. But this time, she didn't have a whole company behind her to support her. She read a bit alone, basically. Every
famous
every project is on her now. Every merch is she had to discuss about with everyone about her merch. It's, in my opinion, it's something that is even harder when you have a whole company carrying you.
VTuber in history walks away. The problem is she couldn't take herself with her. When you sign with a company like Hololive, you don't own your character. They do. It's like an actor playing a role in a franchise.
Yeah, let's say this is something that only in the VTuber world may happen. Yeah, your character doesn't belong to you. But there's that contradiction. Most of people subscribe for a creator, especially someone like Gura, not because of her character, but because of her personality. She had Senzawa channel, and I'm mostly sure that a lot of people that were not disappointed in her leave were really happy when she debuted as Gura. And that's basically the same that happened with Saba. They were all fans of Gura, of Senzawa, and now these are the same people supporting Saba. So basically, nothing really changed, only the company. But yeah. Oh, freak. I guess I which is a topic midway. So yeah. Basically, people are coming not for a character, they're coming for personality. That's what I wanted to say.
Actor brings a voice and a personality, but a studio owns the character itself, the name, and the face of the design. So when the talent leaves, the character stays with the company. Gargura, the model, the name, all of it, it belonged to Cover Corp, not to the person who voiced her. She left Gura behind. She kept her voice.
It's not the same thing as an anime character. It's anime character is scripted, really scripted. And his voice might change because of dubbing. And even though it changes, it doesn't change his personality. But with VTubers, it doesn't work like that.
So, her personality and her fan base, if they decided to follow her in her reincarnation. But she also can't use the old Gargura channel to point fans towards anything new, because advertising her independent channel off the company's IP could get her into legal trouble. So how did she came back without being allowed to say it's her? Well, she left some clues. Initially, before she even graduated, she had begun leaving some cryptic clues on her Senzawa account. Gargura officially graduated from Hololive on May 1st, 2025. However, the first hint of her transition actually occurred approximately 6 months prior to her graduation. On
6 months?
November 3rd, 2024, Senzawa updated her Twitter bio to read #1 fan of Gargura and leaving the end of the sentence blank as a cryptic tease. Fans only later realized this meant she'd been planning the transition and rebranding for quite some time. However, 19 days after Gargura's graduation, she revealed the full meaning of her bio when Senzawa updated it again to officially state #1 fan of @Gargura and @Samiko Saba. Finally, the fans had a hint and, more importantly, had a name to attach their excitement on. They flooded the new handle with follows, and the news traveled super fast. Gargura was reincarnating as Samiko Saba. The name was the final confirmation. If you read Japanese, Same means shark, that's Gura, Ko means child, Saba means mackerel, child of a shark reborn as a new fish. Then Saba started posting on her own Twitter account. May 19th was her first tweet, yo-ho, and a fish emoji. It got 10.8 million views on 2 words from an account that had never streamed a second of content. She put up a couple of songs soon after that, and the voice settled whatever doubt there was left with audiences.
Yeah.
By the time she set a debut date, over 554,000 people had already subscribed to her channel that had never even gone live. Her fans hadn't seen her in months.
I'd like to be like that as well.
Some of them in years. And then finally came G-Day.
Yo ho, yo ho, yo ho. Hi. I didn't think I was going to be like this, but here I am. Hello. Hi. Hello, nice to meet you. My name is Samiko Saba, and I am here. My name is Saba. It's nice to meet you. I've never met you before. I have a fishtail.
Yeah.
I'm a fish.
We've never met her before, indeed.
Don't ask any other.
Yeah, but actually, surprisingly to me, if she planned her graduation so long ago, was it mandatory to make this graduation letters, graduation video? So what was the point of all of that? Just to, well, at the same time, let's say, the more people missed her, happier they would to see her again. Let's say like that. But still, that's a little bit strange.
Further questions?
The debut peaked just over 200,000 viewers 9 minutes into her stream. A few days later, she passed 1 million subscribers, faster than anyone had ever seen in VTubing history.
Okay, the
And tweet she
100,000
posted to
says
mark it
freaking a
all
lot.
was this: a Jaws joke. 500,000 subscribers before a single stream is already absurd, but she crossed 1 million in under 3 days. For comparison, the previous record for fastest VTuber to 1 million was held by Salome, and that took around 13 days. Saba did it under 3. By the standards anyone tracks
That's a
these
huge
days,
gap.
her debut was the second biggest VTuber debut ever recorded, beaten only by another ex-Hololive talent's return. And later, in 2025, when Stream Charts ranked the most watched VTubers of the year by peak viewership, Saba landed in the top 10. The only English VTuber ahead of her was Gargura. She was, in effect, competing with her own ghost. So 3 names now: Senzawa, then Gora, then Saba. Same voice, same pattern underneath all of them. A huge arrival, a wave of love, and eventually the disappearing. She'd done it twice. The only question left was how long this one would last. Samiko Saba did not have a regular indie VTuber debut. Not only because she had an already established fan base that followed her, but also because she had an entire machine operating behind her. Weeks before that first Yoho tweet on May 2nd, 2025, a company called Incoming
At some point, I believe she never wanted to make her, let's say, hobby, YouTubing as a job. She really enjoys content creation. Oh, well, I might be wrong with it, but still. According how often she made content on Senzawa account, we can surely say that was a hobby. She probably received some money, but a piece of content every 6 months will not bring a lot, in my opinion. Especially when, I guess, right now, with current YouTube conditions, you have to upload at least 3 times during the last 90 days. So, yeah. This wouldn't be monetized right now. Then came Hololive, and they searched for talent, and they proposed to Gura to become Gura. And at the time, she probably thought that this is going to be a good decision. Then there was a lot of work, really, really a lot of work as a shark, let's say. And she came to burnout a couple of times. Especially, there was a lot of pressure for her, a lot of stress. She was #1 in the world, let's say, as a VTuber. Yeah, that was a lot. And at some point, she decided to leave. Then, probably, let's say, she misjudged. She thought that the initial reason was the corpo job. And then she left it and started her journey as Samiko Saba by doing quite the same thing, but all alone this time, which is even harder in my opinion. Probably she thought about freedom when starting as Saba, But now she faced even more job to do. That's a theory.
Next LLC filed trademark applications for the Sameko Saba name and logo. They handled performance services, printed goods, toys, digital files, the whole catalog. The brand Sameko Saba was legally locked down before the public had even heard about it for the first time. And this information is pulled straight from the public US trademark records, by the way. The company was registered in Delaware. What's interesting about companies incorporated in Delaware is that it lets the owner stay anonymous, which is perfect for VTubers. Also, the tax setup is friendly because the legal system there is built to protect them. The lawyer on the filing makes it even clearer. The trademarks were handled by Michelle Robichaud at Auden Law and Media. And Auden isn't some random firm you find on Google. They've done legal work for major VTuber agencies and big-name independent streamers in the past. I've also actually worked with Auden in the past as well, and everything I've heard lines up about them. They're generally good at this. Point being is that Saba walked into independence with the same caliber of legal firepower as the corporation she left behind.
Yeah, now when I look at her model, freak, how good the rigging is. How freaking good this is.
Money. Her Life 2D model was built by top-tier artists and rigged by one of the most respected riggers in the industry. She didn't just have one artist for the L2D and one for the rigging, as it usually goes. She had an entire team.
Here are all the people that helped make today possible.
Sameko Saba's character model was designed by Shu, also known as Shu-kun, and illustrated by Tusaki Shina. The Life 2D rigging for her model was handled by the riggers Celia and Quanchi. And then there was the merch.
Freak, her debut was real. Oh.
The day she debuted, she dropped a full line with Omocat, a streetwear brand that sits right at the crossroad of anime and fashion. They did a lot of Hololive collabs in the past as well. There was a $200 debut bundle with a hand-signed postcard at the top and a little $6 blind bag pins at the bottom, hoodies, all of the works, and it all sold out almost immediately. Sameko Saba didn't have to claw for attention from fellow creators either.
Yeah, I guess a lot of this stuff is really expensive to handle alone. Yeah, let's say she wasn't streaming for how much? 5 months? 6 months after her graduation? Yeah, I wonder how many VTubers actually make it, well, especially the size of hers. This should be a lot. Yeah. Well, she had some knowledge, of course. I'm sure she had. But still, that was really expensive. Might it be a problem? Who knows?
Other huge independent VTubers who'd recently left Hololive, Doobie, Nimi Nightmare, were right there hyping her up. There was no marketing budget needed when your friends are some of the biggest name in the scene and they're all vouching for you at once. And it was genuinely so hype. I can't even begin to describe how everyone was so excited for her return. It's like the entire industry was just waiting with bated breath, wondering what she would do next. So what do you even call this? It's branded as an indie, it walks and talks like an indie, but she's got the LLC, the trademark attorney, the elite production behind her, and the premium fashion collab, and a built-in network of A-list peers. It was a sophisticated setup. Indie feels sort of like a stretch here, and corporate isn't right either. It's something in between that we don't really have a name for it yet, but I have a feeling it's gonna start showing up a lot more often. But whatever you call it, it created a problem that's going to haunt the rest of the story, because everyone who showed up for Saba showed up expecting this level of operation, this level of production, not be patient with a solo creator finding her feet. After all, her health announcements were a while ago, and we all know the internet has a short memory. They had all settled in the background now. Barely anyone mentioned them anymore. Meanwhile, this debut was calibrated to a polished, professional, top-of-the-industry product. With all the output and consistency that implies, nobody was prepared to be patient. And after all, why would they be? Nothing about this looked like it needed patience. For a while, it was everything everyone hoped it would be. July 2025 was Saba at full power. 12 streams in a single month, plus a couple of videos, which, if you know her history, is a staggering amount of output. She was on, and when she was on, she was magic. She'd rage her way through horror games, screaming at Resident Evil 4 and Alien Isolation, talking trash to the game the whole way through as a coping mechanism for being genuinely terrified. Then she'd turn around and play rhythm game and she was cracked at them. On other nights, she'd boot up some dumb little simulator and yap at chat for hours. And she could sing, not just pop covers, but jazz, bossa nova, and old city pop with a beautiful voice. At least, that's mine and many others' humble opinion.
That means divided by, right? Got your nose! I got your nose! What are you gonna do now? I got your nose! Okay. Sorry. This is a paper boat on me, by the way. Paper boat. Do I need to explain the symbolism behind a paper boat, or do you guys kind of understand it? Paper boat. Maybe it's subjective, like most things are in art. So maybe a paper boat means something different to you, but a paper boat to me means, I don't know. It's so fragile, but yet it floats. That's gonna be annoying to stop. Paper boat. Damn, bro. The winds of change ain't blowing. Anyway, we gotta figure out who's in charge and stick with them, you feel me, bro? We gotta get in good with.
Yeah, just figure it out. You can see Gura. I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry, Saba.
Fima. I'm not reading that out loud. I don't know what that means. I don't trust him anymore.
Your streams are always at the worst time for me. Well, what can I do? I guess not much.
Happy birthday, Hatsune Miku. Her name is Hatsune Miku. If I see one more of you call her the Fortnite girl, I'm gonna freak out. Fucking come on!
But the best part was who she was doing it with. She started collabing with two other massive independent VTubers, Doobie and Nimi. And if you'd been around for years, those two were not strangers. Without anyone being legally allowed to say it out loud, Doobie was the woman who used to be Amelia Watson, and Nimi was the one who used to be Sarah's Fauna. Saba's old whole life family, scattered to independence, finding each other again on the other side. Which means when Saba and Doobie collabed, it was Ame Same again, the duo that defined an entire era of hololive back together. Except now they had to perform this little strange ritual where they pretended to be meeting for the first time. Think of it like this elaborate manners of an 18th century dinner party where everyone at the table knows a certain scandalous fact about someone precisely because everyone knows nobody is permitted to say it. The whole thing runs on a polite, agreed upon fiction. So that's what this was. Two best friends of half a decade introducing themselves to each other like polite strangers. Both of them perfectly aware that the other one knows and the audience knows, but the rule is that the words can never actually be spoken. You can watch them wing their way through it in real time here.
Here, eat this.
Wait, is it good to eat?
Yeah, it's good. Do you think I would poison you?
I don't know. I don't know. This is our first time meeting. Maybe.
Oh, that's right. Nice to meet you, by the way.
Nice to meet you.
So nice to meet you.
And she looked happy. Watching those collabs, Saba seemed genuinely comfortable, relaxed, laughing, doing this because she wanted to be there. That was the dream version of going independent. No corporate structure choking you down. You keep all your money because nobody's taking a cut. There was no idle obligations, no flying back and forth between countries to record, and you still get to enjoy your audience and mess around with your friends at your own pace.
Uh-oh. This is how I died last time. Wait a sec. Wait. Jimmy! Tom and Jerry scream. Up, down, up, down.
Freak. How did they rig that?
My Discord kitchen.
Meow. Hello, princess. Are you ready to play another level of Peak tonight? I've turned my status to Do Not Disturb.
At this point, the public sentiment conclusion was that it was probably the corpo obligations that had been weighting her down. After all, she'd been streaming now more than ever. It just made sense. But that wasn't all. On the 16th, she commented on Kurage Roa's tweet, another ex-Hololive member who was officially reincarnated a few days later. Off-stream, it looked even better. The merch was selling so fast that Omocat had to extend the pre-orders because the original run sold out. In late July, she even made a surprise appearance at Doobie's Virtual Vacation Summer concert, turning up unannounced to provide backup vocals. It looked like she finally had it all, and that she had finally figured out how to do things on her own terms. So you'll forgive everyone for thinking the disappearing act was finally over.
Yeah.
Although she stayed fairly consistent all throughout the end of June and July, and fans were ecstatic. On August 1st, she mentioned needing a few days to recharge as she was very busy. Fans were understanding. After all, this happens to every creator. And a few days gap was nothing compared to the month-long gaps they were used to. Saba then resumed streaming in August. She literally had a stream the next day of that tweet, actually, and remained fairly consistent throughout the month. But then, September started considerably slowing down. She only managed 5 streams throughout the month. On September 14, she gave
Yo-ho, hope you've been doing good. I've been dealing with some health issues the past week. Sorry for not updating this. Sorry for not updating you sooner. I will see you soon once I feel a bit better. Thank you for your patience. What's wrong this time? Well, let's say the hardest part of debuting was offline, technically. So she had a lot of prep time. Probably. She decided to move one step forward to prepare something big, something that usually was prepared by her company alone. And it didn't end up as it should have been.
another update. She was dealing with health issues over the past week, and she apologized for not updating them sooner. She thanked her fans for their patience and said she'd see them when she feels better. She livestreamed 3 times in early October and then fell quiet. On October 20th, she addressed it, posting, "Yo-ho! I know it's been rather quiet over here at the lighthouse, just been chugging along. I wanted to check in with all of you. I hope you have a good Monday." And yet about a week later, on October 20th, she was back on the grind with another Alien Isolation stream, followed by another stream the very next day and a Repo collab on the 30th with Doobie and Lemu. And then she even streamed again the next day for Halloween, revealing a new scary costume. She was pushing through, she was doing fairly well. Her fanbase were blessed by a karaoke stream on November 2nd. And then another Doobie Lemu collab on the 7th. And then a Leaf It Alone stream on the 9th. And then total silence. On November 19, she posted, "Sorry for the late notice, but streams and activity will be spotty for a little while as I deal with some health-related issues. But as soon as I feel well and able, I will pop in. Thank you always for your patience." It was clear that she was still struggling with health-related issues. Still, fans stayed patient. At first, they told themselves it'd be a few days, and the gap kept on stretching. A few days became a couple of weeks. The couple of weeks became most of a month, and somewhere in there, the tone of the waiting changed. The patient
Yeah, when you have a stress consistently from something, it gets harder and harder to keep up on doing what you have to do. Let's say the last of her streams, probably she forced herself to stream. Not because, well, even though she likes to streaming because you have to, and streaming because you want to, would never be the same reason. And both of these things has its own consequences.
Started curdling into restlessness, especially with the holidays coming up. Because if you come from a corporate VTuber culture, the big holidays are sacred. The Christmas streams, the New York countdowns are company-wide events.
Yeah. Also, Saba, I'm sorry, is a really somebody performative. So basically her personality, well, it's my opinion, as always, her personality was her acting, basically. And that's really hard to keep up on the same pace for a really, really long time when you play somebody else.
That's when your favorite shows up, no matter what. So the fans waited. Surely she'd be back for Christmas. Some of them still believed. But Christmas came and went, still no words. And then, just a few days after Christmas, she tweeted, "Ay yo ho ho! Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, gamers!
I guess she was preparing something for Christmas, I guess. But probably she didn't manage to make it in time. And that's why she decided to make a tweet instead. And in my opinion, she was really, really disappointed in herself at this moment. Because as far as I know, she haven't streamed till the February.
Thank you all for your patience with me throughout the year as I learned to navigate some recurring health issues. I'm still learning. Sometimes I'm good at balancing things and other times I'm terrible at it. And my health and productivity suffers from it. It's so easy to feel down when my body also feels like, well, shit. But in the end, so long as I get back up again, I'll do just that and keep her going as best as I can. Just my old lady light keeper pace. I'm so lucky to be supported by such kind friends and folks. Thank you all.
Wait. I have to read it again for a better understanding, I'm sorry. So, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, gamers. Thank you all for your patience with me throughout the years, as I learned to navigate some recurring health issues. Recurring health issues. I'm still learning. Sometimes I'm good at balancing things, and other times I'm terrible at it. And my health and productivity suffers for it. It's so easy to feel down when my body is also feels weak. Feels like, well, shit. Why am I reading words that are not even a reason? Well, anyway. Okay, from this part, I'm still learning. Kinda sounds like an excuse. Sometimes I'm good at balancing things, and other times I'm terrible. Yes, sometimes you manage to do something, sometimes no. And my health and productivity suffers for it. More she pushes herself, it affects her health. But more her health is frick, I forgot the word. I'm sorry. More her health is impacted, more her productivity. Freak. And worse her health. Okay, let's keep it simple. Her productivity just can't be on the same level because of her health. That's basically what she says.
So much. The majority of her
Oh, frick, I had to read it until the end. It's so easy to feel down when my body also feels like, well, shit, yeah. That's what I said. But in the end, so long as I get back up again, I'll do just that. And keep her going as best as I can. Just at my old lady light keeper pace. Well, this time, instead of pushing her forward, she decided to make things slow. Which is actually good for her personal health, physical health. But let's say when it goes slow, you miss a lot of things as well. And because she can't, because she's missing a lot of things, I guess her mental health goes down. And yeah, don't forget that outside of VTubing world, Saba is a real person as well. She has a family. She has friends. She has people to care about. And all of that needs time. Yeah. So basically, keeping up all alone at the same pace as a big corpo, well, it's quite impossible when you think about all of the other things that happens in her life as well. But yeah.
I'm so lucky to be supported by such kind friends and folks. Thank you all so much. The majority of her fan base received this message positively and wished her the best, and frankly, they were just happy to get news from her. But on the other hand, some others weren't as understanding, particularly on forum boards where some displayed more than a large amount of skepticism, while others just made the jokes that gets made every time a VTuber disappears. There was even this wild theory at one point that she had timed the update for the 20th on purpose because that's when most people's membership renew, so it's the day they decided whether to resubscribe or not. I swear one of these days I'm gonna lose it with what people type online.
No, it's really, really stupid. Well, as a reasoning, let's say, because, well, let's say even she haven't cancelled her subscription by herself, there'd be some people that would still watch her. That would still be subscribing to her despite her not streaming. Her fans, the most dedicated ones, especially.
But regardless, fans hoped Saba would stream for New Year's Eve. Then New Year's Eve came and went, and there was no words from Saba. Some did not take her skipping out on New Year's Eve well. However, she did surface again in January. Her first stream was back on the 13th. 4 streams over the month. Not much, sure, but enough to make people think that maybe the worst was over. On January 26th, she popped up as a surprise guest at Mince Phantom's concert. That was huge. And on February 5th, she announced a new merch line. And the same day, a pop-up event in Tokyo at the Anime Plaza in Shibuya, alongside another VTuber, Kurage Roa, who older fans will tell you used to be Shion from Hololive. So once again, a Hololive reunion in everything but name. A whole event, merch, a venue, a collaborator, and most people were genuinely excited for it. Except this particular event kicked off its own round of criticism. First, the familiar one resurfacing, that Saba only reappears to sell merch. That used to be a criticism of her all the way back when she was Gargura. But some decided to take it further. If she's well enough to tweet and put together a merch line, she's well enough to give people what they actually want, which is streams. And second, the criticism centered on one specific item in particular. A happy. What happened was that the basic version, priced around $69, sold out. So the only one left was the premium version, a much pricier product, over $200. And people got upset, assuming she jacked up the price of her merch. But that wasn't it. It was simply a different higher end.
Well, people weren't people if there was no idiots. Yeah, that's true. Well, what can I say about it? Freak, I had an idea in mind that left me the moment I started talking. Based. Yeah. Yeah, people. I was talking about people. Wait.
In particular. A happy and put together a merch line, she's well enough to give people what they actually want, which is streams. And second, the criticism.
Well, let's say this right here we can see her with her new kind of strategy. She prepares as old lady spacing, let's say. She was slow and she prepared this event. I'm sure she put a lot of efforts in it. And yeah, she discards stream in this favor of this event. Probably she thought that would satisfy a lot of her viewers, and I'm sure it did, but you know, the most the critique is something. No, how can I say that? The loudest opinion that she heard was critique in her favor, and because of that, she felt even worse. She wasn't sure if her tactic strategy would work. It worked, but a lot of people still hated her for choosing this approach because, well, they're idiots, unfortunately.
$200. People got upset, assuming she jacked up the price of her merch. But that wasn't it. It was simply a different higher-end item. And I doubt she had much say in the pricing at this pop-up anyway, since the numbers are one-to-one with Roa's merch sitting right next to it. As for her only showing up to announce merch, these things are planned months ahead, and they're usually contractual. Even if Saba was in a rough patch health-wise, she'd still be on the hook to promote this particular line because it's a collaboration with a third party. But still...
Yeah, technically, I'm sure a lot of people believe that, wow, $250, that's a lot for this shark. And, well, for this fish, I'm sorry. They don't think that the price for it goes not completely to Gura, it goes to organizers, to manufacturer, to transportation, to a lot of things. But yes, they can see the price only. Probably some of that people thought that there's gonna be some H&M merch or something like that. Zara.
More people were happy than unhappy. And then, finally on February 7th, 2026, she went live. Nobody knew at the time, but that would be the last stream she'd have. The hope rolled forward one more time to Valentine's Day.
Probably in February. I'm gonna be having a new outfit. Yay! Finally! This fish put some more clothing on.
The fanbase strongly believed she'd be back for it, as that was the one holiday she'd historically never missed. But then Valentine's Days was the real killer, because Valentine's came and Valentine's went, and there was no Saba. And after that, there was nothing at all. And then March, April, and the better part of May trickled by with zero communication from her. Fans started obsessively tracking her streams and comparing them with breaks she took as Gargura in the past to try desperately to find an answer or establish some kind of correlation, until one Twitter post blew the lid off everything. It all started with a single post of someone deciding to cancel their membership. They tweeted, "I told myself that if she didn't stream or even make a community post by the next time this renews, I would have to cancel it. But this..."
Yeah, we can kind of understand fans as well. Paying money for nothing is something that anybody wants to. So it was kind of natural that something like this will happen very soon. Yeah.
This really is such a hard decision for me. I want to keep supporting her, but it is a little screwed up to just go AWOL without any notice. There isn't a single other VTuber I know who would take this many frequent hiatus and not even make a post. I'm not even asking for much here.
Fillion.
Just a vague, sorry about a lack of content, personal things happening, but we get nothing. Maybe I'll change my mind in the morning. But for now, I just feel kind of sad. I've been a fan of hers since her first incarnation, and it just sucks to get basically nothing from a content creator I enjoy. Like I said, I'm gonna sleep on it, but for now, this is where it stands for me. And I know y'all don't really care, but this is my social media. I'm going to vent my feelings if I want to. Saba, at this point, hadn't streamed in 2 and...
Well, that's just an opinion on social media. Technically, not a big deal, but it went viral. And when something goes viral, there's a reason for it. So, technically, that's not a reason. That's a consequence, unfortunately, for Saba.
Entire months. And that tweet just sparked an entire discussion that lasted for days. So there were people airing out their grievances, such as, "It's really funny how Saba left, came back to announce overpriced merch, and then left again without another
Okay, that's an idiot, by the way.
word. This tweet got over 1.5 million views. And just to be clear, the discussion that followed wasn't just her fanbase. Saba discussions have always pulled in casual viewers, onlookers, rival fanbases, antis, and even haters posing as fans. And it's exactly these factions fighting each other that have always exacerbated any discussions around her. And you'll see all of them in what comes next. And in this case, the discussion cut both ways as well. Plenty of people pushed back on the criticism as well. The argument being, if a friend of yours landed a job where they were successful enough to only work a few days a month and still get by, you'd be happy for them. So why aren't you happy for her? Others pointed out that membership doesn't buy you access to her, but one tweet in particular raised a sharper question. Does Saba owe at least one membership stream as a perk for paying members? As one of the perks listed on her memberships are members-only live streams. And here's the ironic part. Back when she debuted and was streaming constantly, people blamed Hololive, the corporate obligations, the pressure that was wearing her down. But now that she was independent and barely streaming, the same logic flipped completely. Maybe Hololive was actually the thing keeping her going this entire time. And so they started blaming her instead.
Well, for sure. They were forcing her to stream, that's true. But yeah, as I said, when you have a lot of stress, it's to really keep up on the same pace.
And praising Hololive. Most of the criticism slung at her during the stretch boiled down to one accusation, that she was using her fan base as living wallets. Saba slash Gargura was always a piece of shit, and the only reason she left Hololive in the first place is that they dared to demand she actually do her job instead of sitting at home collecting royalties. I and others predicted that she would do the exact same thing once becoming an indie, and here we are. Saba slash Gura slash Senzawa was basically playing the card of I'm too sick, tired, etc. to stream, so please continue to support me, ooh, for the past 6 years. I get saying, well, she isn't obligated to stream for you, but you are a streamer. It's insulting to fans to just not stream. And another said, stop giving her money and see how fast she comes back. She is literally using y'all as a wallet, Lamau. I've never seen a VTuber this blatant about not giving a fuck about their fans. The only achievement of those who left Hololive like Gora or Aqua is that they kept slacking off unchanged even after going independent. So it's the faction who brainlessly defends them with not streaming is the management's fault has finally disappeared. Imagine having over 1,400,000 followers and just ghosting them. And a lot of it wasn't even just aimed at her anymore. People just reach for the usual internet insults for her fanbase as well. They call them cucks, loser, simps, incels. However, amongst the memes, the anger, and the people arguing back and forth, some people pointed out something more legitimate. They believed that at the very least she owed her fanbase some communication, and if she couldn't do it herself, she should have someone else tweet or post on her behalf. No hate to Saba, but I'd say she does owe some fans some type of notice. I use the word owe because this is a job. When you go on vacation at work, you put your time in and let your boss know. Why does she get a pass? Not parasocial, but why are we setting double standards? And somewhere along the line throughout this discourse that had been happening ever since she was Gargura, the opinion shifted from Saba cannot stream due to health issues to Saba does not want to stream because she either hates her fanbase, VTubing, or because she's simply lazy.
Oh, freaking bots. Freak off here. Boom. Well, she doesn't want to stream for sure, I guess. Because of that freaking board, I had something to say about
easy and stream because she either not stream due to health issues to Saba does not want to stream because she either hates her fanbase, VTubing, or because she's simply lazy. And on top,
well, let's say whenever I go like this, like Gora, it's more like a sign of deep depression, actually. It's not like you don't want to. Well, let's say you technically can, but at the same time, you don't want to. And yeah, psychology is really hard topic, to be honest. I'm not a professional psychologist, but I understand basic people needs, honestly. And the problem of Saba right now, when you avoid something for a really long time, if something keeps appearing, keeps happening again and again, like this, like her hiatus, there's more chances that she won't come back. Does she blame her for this? Maybe. I don't know. Does she, well, what I know for sure right now, she likes content creation. And even though she's a performative person, I guess she's taking her fans' reaction really, really deep in her heart. Yeah. Let's proceed.
On top of all the not streaming criticism, she'd also been trailed by the same recycled accusations the whole time. Because she has a lolly avatar, a certain corner of the internet has always slapped her with the PDF label, or called her PDF. And this isn't new, it's followed her and her fanbase since the Gargora days, with live streamer Brittany Venti casting her first stone.
There is something called Hollow Live now that they do in English. They have little lollies, prepubescent girls on YouTube. And my first impression of it was, oh, is this like a child show? Is this a kid's show? Like kids can see it, kind of like Dora the Explorer, and like interact with it. Then I come to find out, no, actually the chat is full of 40-year-old men getting...
How does she freaking know it? Does everyone in Gura's chat has a age verification? What? Or does the only thing 40 years old man wants is to beat their meat on 6 years old, 10 years old child? What the hell is that logic? Well, that's yeah, I guess that's something common in our community, unfortunately.
Off to the depiction of a 9-year-old.
These people resurfaced every time she does anything, across all three of her personalities, like clockwork. The day of her debut, a post blew up on r/livestreamfails pointing out that Gargora had redebuted as Samiko Saba to 200k live viewers. And the top comments were, well, exactly what you'd expect. Why do they seem to always look like children? So wholesome, she got 200k PDF watch.
Uh 200k PDF watching. I don't even know what to say. You know, there's some topics that to understand it takes like maybe 2 brain cells in general. But these people have less than 2 brain cells in their brain. Yeah, I'm still curious how these people survived for that long to be able to express their opinion, stupid opinion, annex, yeah.
You can't tell me you wouldn't distance yourself or your children from a friend/family member who watches shit like this. VTubers really opened the PDF Pandora's box. The popularity of these animated children models is honestly frightening. Shame on these women for exploiting it too. Disgusting. PDF is bad.
Yeah, of course. Every VTuber fan is freaking PDF. And that's the exact reason why the most famous free VTuber in the world right now is a freaking fanboy. Yeah.
I can't wait for the drama from the jealous small VTubers. I'm pretty understanding of most things in life, but being over the age of like 15 and watching something like this is just weird. Really, really, really fucking weird.
I guess. Expressing an opinion on X without understanding something is really, really, really weird for somebody over 15. Yeah.
But her silence didn't just anger people, it left a hole others exploited as well. Since Saba doesn't have an official Discord, she never did. In fact, most of the ex-Holo members don't have a fan Discord as well. Well, except for Doobie. This is probably to put some healthy degrees of separation between them and some of the fans that get too attached. Anyways, the absence of a centralized place that is moderated for fans created a gap in her case. And this gap is often easy to fill for impersonators. Lately, especially, Hololive has been getting tons of impersonators. And around the holidays, someone ran a fake Secret Santa scam pretending to be her, with a wish list that conveniently included a Nintendo Switch 2 for the scammer. There were real fans that were...
Well, let's say some people are really genuine, but if you think about it more than 3 seconds, why a VTuber of that scale like Saba would make a wish list? Nintendo, especially Freak, she makes tons of money on that, on her subscriptions alone, without her advertisement. So, yeah. Well, scammers are gonna be scammers always,
missing
unfortunately.
her and who donated actual money to it before anyone figured out that it wasn't actually her. And then there was a TikTok account called Samo Saber that's been restreaming her old YouTube VODs live, pretending to be her broadcasting in real time. People showed up to the live streams thinking it was her and donated to her through the TikTok app, which in turn had people criticize Saba for not doing enough in terms of communication to protect her fans from legitimate scammers. But then, just as everyone has started giving up hope, almost a month after the viral Twitter post, Saba finally addressed it in a member post. So here VTuber etiquette says you don't leak paid content, so I can't put it directly on stream, I can only talk about it vaguely. But she clarified a few things worth repeating here, mostly because it reads like a direct response to the criticism she's been getting. She first off opens by confirming what a lot of us already suspected, that her health hasn't been good. She says she has a chronic illness that isn't improving and that she's been feeling the worst she ever has, and that she'll get into it more when she can, but it gets her really emotional. She also says she's pausing memberships on May 25th. That one lines up pretty directly with the loudest complaint, that she was still collecting money from members while she stopped streaming. She also promised a longer public tweet in the coming days to lay out the whole situation. And most importantly, she addressed the criticism at the center of it all, the communication or lack of it with her fans about what was going on. And this is the most important part, as her silence is enabling bad actors, as we've seen throughout the video, to fill the space with their own narratives instead. At the end of the day, she said it plenty times that she's been dealing with a chronic illness on top of the pressure of fame and having to perform.
Me. All of you are looking at me. What a terrifying thought.
So it really comes down to whether or not you trust her word. Pausing memberships did raise another point worth sitting with. For the genuine fans who just wanted to support her with nothing expected in return, this also took away their ability to do that, and they might be the one impacted the hardest by this. So why does this happen? Why does a streamer taking a break curdle into people calling her lazy, a grifter, telling her to log off forever? Well, it's not random, and it's not just that fans are mean. There's a real psychological phenomenon underneath it. Core of it is that people are lonely. People want to belong to something, and a fandom is one of the few places left that reliably gives them that. Every fandom forms around liking a particular thing, and in this case, the thing is Saba. That shared liking is the price of entry, and once you're in, the actual point isn't really her anymore. It's everything that grows around her. You make friends in that chat, in this community. You recognize the same names every night. You're in on the jokes. You show up to the same place at the same time and other people show up too. You collaborate on things. You clip her. You draw fan arts of her. And for that window of time, you're part of something. That's what a fandom built around a creator actually is. It's what experts called a ritual economy, where the creator is just the thing that everyone gathers around and the real value is the gathering. Think of it as like Saba is the glue holding all of these people together, which is why her going quiet does so much more damage than it looks like it should. The fans don't only lose Saba, they lost the reason the group convenes. When the stream stops, the chat thins out, the routine dissolves, the friends you only ever saw in that one place drift apart, and the whole little world that formed around her starts to come apart. For a lot of these people, that world had become the main source of belonging. It was part of their identity. It was more load-bearing than anything in their offline life. So her silence doesn't just land as a show going on a break, it lands as a community dissolving, and as the specific person who could have kept it together simply choosing not to. The fans might feel like they're losing part of their identity, losing her. And so, slowly, they start resenting her more and more and feeling like it's her fault. And that also explains why the same hiatus gets different reactions from different viewers. Some of them just shrug and say, well, I'll just pause my membership and restart it whenever she starts streaming again. But some others have total meltdowns. It also tracks with people's attachment styles. A securely attached viewer takes a break as a break. But for a viewer whose whole sense of belonging was wired into that community experience, they will take the abscess as something closer to abandonment. So it's the same event, but it has completely two different internal responses. And obviously the loudest voices in the discourse are coming disproportionately from the people who had the most writing on it socially. And when it comes specifically to Saba, consistent absences set a low baseline. So you expect little, so there's little to violate. But Saba does the opposite. She comes back, she's great, the community reassembles, everyone reinvests, and then it goes quiet again. And then it repeats. And each return rebuilds the anticipation and redeposits everyone's investment right before the next silence wipes it out. It's not just the absence that does the damage, it's the intermittency. It's the feast or famine mode that she trained her audience to be on.
You feel like you want to do so much, right? And you know people expect certain things from you, but maybe you expect things of yourself. And you feel like you try, but maybe you're not doing enough for yourself, or you feel like you're doing what you can, but still doesn't, like it's too much. You like take a moment and you just say that you are doing the best that you can, and that's all you can do. Just do what you can. I don't want to say do your best, but that's what it boils down to. Do what you can. And if anybody has a problem with what it is, school, work, whatever it is, fuck them. The world these days, it's so easy to get so stressed out and so wound up. The last thing you need is yourself in your own ear, making your life more miserable. I don't know where this came from. Just do what you can in life, alright? Don't compare your path to anybody else's. That's why they call it your life and your path done at your pace.
It's too much of an unpredictable on and off schedule, and it's almost the most destabilizing when it gets cut out. So the obvious question is, if you're this unhappy, why not just leave? Well, because they are already invested. There's a sunk cost fallacy there, but also it's comfortable and it's familiar.
Yeah.
Humans are creatures of habits. There's no guarantee a new creator will give you the same thing with the same feeling or the same community. So you stay until the creator gives you truly nothing. It's like rewatching Lord of the Rings for the 20th time with 100 unwatched films right there. The known quantity usually wins. So here's a contradiction nobody really clocked at the time. For years the consensus was that the company was the problem, the schedule, the obligations, the machine. Go independent, the thinking went, and you'd finally get to do this on your own terms. And a lot of talents did exactly that, and it worked. But on your own terms also includes the term where you're not okay, where you go quiet, where the answer to when's the next stream is sometimes just nothing for a while. Independence was never only the freedom to thrive, it was also the freedom to disappear. We just tended to picture the first part always. So the question the whole Saba situation keeps circling back to isn't really about Saba, is is it? It's what we actually want from these performers, the freedom we keep saying we want for them, or the consistency we still expect. Because it's looking more and more like you don't fully get both, because freedom tends to cut both ways. So what do you guys think of this situation? Let me know in the comments below. Videos like this are only possible because of the wonderful people in my community. If you want to be part of that, come join the Discord at discord.gg/Rima. I've had 2 videos removed from this channel recently, and limited demonetization is a constant fight. YouTube's automated system is honestly crap, and if you want to support the channel in a way that doesn't depend...
Okay. I really want to watch it until the end to support her, but... gonna take it 2 minutes about talking about Boosty Awards, whatever. Well, anyway, thanks Rima for this amazing essay. Yeah, so it gives us a lot of information, but at the same time, it doesn't answer the question itself. So, let's say things that we know about that happening to Gura right now. So, first, a very big amount of stress from her job, which means VTubing on itself. Second, this is her chronic illness. We don't know what her illness is. We know that it gets worse whenever she feels stressed. But we are not sure what she talks about. Maybe the chronic illness on itself is actually chronic stress. Since it was a membership-only post, unfortunately, I can't be sure what this is. Well, whatever. Let's say I'm not a big fan of Saba, but why not to make something wholesome? Maybe, what do you think about writing a letter in her favor, dedicated to Saba? Like, chances for her to see this message are quite low, but it actually depends on how you see this. If you... For me, it's yes or no. But... yeah, why not? It will not. Since I'm basically nobody, I don't think this is gonna have a lot of... how we call that? This will not have a lot of consequences. So, just a wholesome message to at least cheer her up, I guess.